lower. Come on. There we go. Hey guys, it's Tam. I actually haven't done a vlog for a very long time. There's been a number of reasons as to why, and a lot of the reason was because I've, since my WBFF show in October, I got to Thailand and I was given the opportunity of a lifetime to be the first host for Unit 27 Trip on Tour retreats. So when going into prep and booking a flight to Thailand was about reflecting about the year and having time to sort of embrace everything, turned into more work, and then obviously winning my pro card, everything just became so overwhelming, yet so positive at the same time. But I really have been wanting to do this video for so long for you guys, because I really wanted to open up a lot about this year, what has happened in my life and where it has brought me to now. And I hope this vlog will touch you guys in a really positive way, open your eyes as well, and I know for a fact it's gonna shock you at the same time. But I basically wanted to talk to you guys about the ups and downs that happened in 2018, and where it led me to this point and what I had to do to overcome it. Because I think what happens with social media and with Instagram and even fitness models, fitness influencers, entrepreneurs, no matter what, we're human, we go through life, and as much as we like to think we're superheroes, there comes to a point where we do break. And I think that did happen for me this year. And I wanted to share that with you guys because there are a lot of factors that I didn't understand about myself, purely because from a very young age, throughout my whole life, and this is something I do touch on throughout my social media, but I haven't really touched on properly with you guys, is that I've had a really unstable upbringing, and my childhood memories and everything that I went through with my family has affected me to the person I am now, in a positive way as well as a negative way. And I guess the beauty of that is that we live and learn through these experiences. We become who we are, but yet we also don't learn how to deal with things when things happen in our lives, especially when we're younger. And I think something that has made me really aware of society back when I was younger and growing up, and even our family's generation, my mum and my dad's generation, when you went through things, you were just told to put it under the rug and sweep it up, and don't let anyone to know about it. And growing up, I went through a really unstable life where my family was going through a lot of financial hardships. My dad was a very big gambling addict, which caused us a lot of the times to live in different houses. It caused us a lot of the time to not have money, to borrow money. I can tell you right now that I feel like I lived a gypsy life growing up, because we were constantly in different houses, and I can think we've lived in over 30 houses plus more. We never had the white picket fence perfect family. And a pinnacle moment in my life as well, we went through homelessness. We didn't have anywhere to go. We were on the streets. And I think the father figure in a female's life plays a huge role. And through everything that happened growing up, I was able to learn to act everything was fine. And it was just something that you just kind of had to do, Back at home, and this probably still happens to this day, back at home, parents are fighting, you don't have money, but you go to school the next day and you put on a smile and you don't talk about it. And then you go back home and you deal with things. And that was something that was a reoccurring thing in my life, and I became really good at it. And it's not something that I became good at because I chose to be good at it. I think it was just how I dealt with things. And I think that's how people saw me as a strong person, because even now to this day, if I was told something that happened in my life or told I was going through something, I was able to just switch off and be able to keep going up until this year, and I'll explain to you why. As I was saying, the father figure plays a massive role in a female's life, and throughout our life, our dad abandoned us quite a lot, and even to this day now, I haven't spoken to him for a few years, and that has affected me with relationships and my anxiety. Now, when I was 20, 21, I was taking medication for depression and anxiety, and I remember when I found fitness, I thought that was enough to get through the anxiety and depression that I had from what I went through with my childhood, because I was being physical. So even to this day, now I'm off medication, I'm a fitness person, I train clients, and even though I got off medication and I was training all the time and that was helping my anxiety and depression, when certain situations in my life happened, which is always related back to relationships, that's when I would break down, and there were my little trigger moments. And it got to the point where the physical aspect of fitness was not enough to heal the depression and anxiety that I went through. And this year alone, I went through a breakup of a 4-year relationship, and that was tough. I also went through another breakup, which I think was harder for me because it came out of nowhere. And when that breakup happened, it triggered abandonness. And when that happened to me, it really broke me, and it brought back things in the past that I couldn't explain. So when I was at home, and this is prior to when I was competing for my WBFF show, 6 weeks out of comp, I was at my lowest I've ever been, and I couldn't understand it because I've been so strong throughout, everything in my life. I was able to get through the things that my family did and all those hardships. But when it came down to this one small thing that really affected me with this breakup, it triggered a really big emotional roller coaster. And I ended up having to see someone about it because I couldn't explain these ups and downs, the mood swings that I was having, the dramatic crying that I would have, the fights I would have, the aggressiveness, and then from one extreme to another, I was going from being really happy to really sad, and my mum thought I was going through bipolar. I thought I was going through bipolar. Even the doctors thought, oh, there's a personality disorder coming in, and it wasn't. And I, 6 weeks out of my WBFF comp, when I went to see a therapist and told her everything that happened, and she came back to me and said, you are currently experiencing complex post-traumatic stress. And to hear that was weird because I didn't understand what that was. And when I think of post-traumatic stress, I thought it was something that people go through, from the military, obviously from a traumatic event. But she explained that the complex of it was that the instability of my upbringing, of my childhood, broken families, all of those little things, and that one little thing that happened that was so small had finally made me break. And that was a really big moment in my life. And I had to not put up with that, but I had to take it all in 6 weeks out of my WBFF bikini show for October. And I was a mess. I didn't understand what to do. I actually didn't know how I was going to get through this show, knowing that having to get up every morning, train my ass off, eat clean, and I'm getting emotional about it, thinking about it, but it was very hard. And I had to make a decision that day that I couldn't just do this comp based on having the best physique, if that makes any sense. I I didn't have to just perfect my posing. I didn't have to just be 110% on my diet. I had to also focus on my mental state, which was something I knew that would take me to the next level to get through this comp, to know that I had ticked all the boxes, that I did everything I could to get through this show. And I made that decision that day. So I saw this therapist every week. I went to the gym and did everything I needed to do. I journaled. I did meditation as well around competition, anxiety, depression, sleep. And I had to also communicate all of this with my coach. And the way I had learnt how to communicate going through hardship in life was just to make it as logical and emotionless as possible. Like, I'm just letting you know, this is what I've been told. I'm fine. I can get through this. I'm going to do this comp. But that was a very hard thing for me to accept. And the reason why, and I honestly, the fact that I got on stage knowing I went through all of that and came through in the end winning that show and placing first and getting my pro card is probably the best thing that has happened to me this year. And it made me so happy because I got through that. I'm still going through that and I'm still working on that. But the point of this story and the point of me coming out and telling you guys this is that we need to stop bottling things up, because it can do a lot of damage in the long run. It can put you at breaking point. I thought I was strong until I actually broke. And I think what we need to start doing for our generation and for when we have kids is not to teach them to hide the things that they're going through in life. I think we need to teach them to be open about the things they're going through and to seek help earlier. And I think that's one of the biggest things even in society to this day, is that when people think about going to see a therapist or to seeking help, shows weakness. I used to think that. Even doing this video, I feel like I'm a weak person, but I know that this video will go out there to help others to seek help or to know that they're not alone. You would not know through my Instagram, through what I do every single day, through anything, through how I am as a person, that I have complex post-traumatic stress or had dealt with it or I'm still dealing with it. And that's something I can now share because I feel ready to share it. And I'm ready to share it to the world. And I think that is a positive thing. Our generation now needs to learn to be open and not to be afraid to be vulnerable, and to know that everything happens for a reason, regardless of the outcome. Even though the breakup that I had was not something I enjoyed, it made me realize that I had an issue that was further underlying, because now I know that there's something I need to work on further in order for me to have a relationship down the path, that I don't have these breakdowns, or that I don't have anxiety, or I don't have abandonment issues. And it also has put me into a position now where when I am wanting to work towards something so hard, it is not all about physicality, it's not about how you look or presentation. There is a mental aspect to it too, regardless what anyone says. And I think that's what really defines a true athlete and a true sportsman person in the world. And anyone out there that is watching this that thinks that they've done a comp and they've ticked all the boxes on everything they have done, really think about that, because there's so many other things that you need to think about regarding how you look or physicality. And I know all sports people work on their mental health and how they think and how they enter a competition and how their mindset is so important. And I think that's the message I wanted to get across to you guys today. and I really appreciate anyone that is watching this, because I have really put myself out there. And any feedback you have, any stories you want to share with me, anything that you want to say, I'm open to it. But this is something that I think I want to speak to people openly in public, because people need to learn to now have a voice and to seek help earlier rather than later. Because I wish the advice I'd give my younger self would be to get help earlier. So at the end of the day, the outcome, I won my show. If I didn't go through those hardships, I don't think I'd be where I am today at all. So I really hope you guys follow my YouTube, reach out to me, and I'm sending so much love to you guys out there for always believing in me, because this was a big thing for me. And I am so happy I got through it and getting through it now. Mwah. I love you guys, and again, thank you for watching. Mwah.